What is it like to serve Vipassana course during the COVID pandemic? Hi, my name is Andrew Fletcher. I am a Vipassana meditator. I've had a 2 hours daily practice for about a year and a half, and I've been practicing Vipassana for about 3 years now. I've sat 3 courses, and then I just recently served a course at Damodara in Shelburne Falls, Massachusetts, where I served for the second time. And this was a very unique course because this course was in April and May of 2021, and it's still under lockdown, which meant that we were taking certain measures to accommodate the meditators despite the pandemic, which made it really interesting. So this course was my second time serving, and because it was during the pandemic, it was very, very different than the first time serving. I do often get asked what it's like to serve in general, and I want to point out that serving is a very joyful and loving practice. When you sit on a 10-day Vipassana course, you're silent for the whole 10 days. You can't talk to anyone except the teacher and the course manager, and you meditate for about 10.5 hours a day. Very serious meditation, very painful in a lot of cases, and very challenging. Serving is not like that. When you serve, it's very joyful. You're only meditating a few hours a day, you're working in the kitchen and cleaning and doing that sort of thing, working as part of a team to support the meditators. And because you're working as part of a team, you need to communicate with your other team members in the kitchen and elsewhere. And because of this, the meditation doesn't go as deep and it's not insanely challenging. So that's what serving is like in general. And the first time I served, I was full of love, I was full of joy. What a beautiful thing it is to just cook a bit and then go meditate afterwards. The cooking becomes a part of the meditation, and in each moment you're really aware of your volition. Am I chopping these carrots peacefully and with love? Which may sound silly, but it's a very genuine thing. And it fills your whole day with joy. My favorite thing to do is just chop vegetables, and you're chopping vegetables and you're just having so much fun. Peeling carrots, so much fun, because you realize this thing is going to go and support the meditators. All of your efforts are being paid forward to them, and because of that, they just get filled with this love. So anyway, the second time serving during this COVID pandemic, those feelings were still there. But a few things were very different. And if you are thinking about serving right now, you should maybe know about these things. Now, I want to say that serving during this pandemic was actually a really beautiful experience, maybe even better than not during the pandemic. And there are a few reasons for that. So usually when they serve food on Vipassana courses, it's buffet style, meaning people just come up and take their food and then go back to their place. They can actually sit anywhere and just munch down on their food. If they want more, they go get more. Fair enough. Now during COVID, we can't do that. We can't have everyone touching the same spoons and ladles and things to serve themselves. And we also can't let them sit everywhere. We instead need them to sit in the same place every single meal. So because of that, we needed servers to serve the food, and lucky me, it was my job to be one of the 2 guys who served the food to the students. Each breakfast, there's oatmeal, there's prunes, there's these other things. Then we also put out cereal and tea. And again, usually the students can just get their own tea, but not during COVID. So I was in charge of pouring tea into cups and then serving the cups to the students. I was also in charge of, giving them cereal. At lunch, I was the salad master. So there's always a different entree and a number of things that go with it. And then there's also always salad, a big bowl of lettuce, 6 different toppings, 7 if you include the dressing. I was in charge of doing all those. Students would form a long line and they would come up to the table, they would get their entree, then they'd come over to me. And I would pick up a bowl. And you gotta remember, these students are all totally silent. They can't talk to anyone. They can't talk to me. I can't talk to them. I'm not even supposed to look at them. I'm not supposed to look them in the eye. But there is still some communication required. What if they don't want chickpeas, for example? Then they say, no. So I go and I pick up the salad once they're in front of me so that they can communicate to me what they want. And I start putting carrots, I start putting beets, chickpeas. We have a nutritional yeast that we use. It's kind of like, it's yellow. Then there's almonds and sunflower seeds, and then dressing. And so I'll go through one by one, and if someone wants more, they'll go, thumbs up, because again, it's all silent, more of that. Or if someone doesn't want something, they'll do, no. none of that. And then I'll pour some tea and so forth. The thing is, this formed a very personal connection with all the meditators that you don't normally get on a Vipassana course. Usually if people just serve themselves, they don't realize that so much love is being put into all of these things. Whereas when you're serving and you're delicately putting carrots and delicately putting beets and all these things to their preferences and then handing it to them, even though you can't look at them, I'm always smiling, behind my mask. And there's just this moment of gratitude, not just coming from them for receiving the food, but from me and from the other server. We're grateful to serve. When you're a server, you want to serve. You want to be there and you want to help them and you want them to have the best experience possible. And because of that, it's such a joy to have this personal interaction with them, handing over that food, delicately preparing it, each and every one of them getting just the salad that they want prepared just for them. And actually, just a side note, I work in marketing, I'm a copywriter. One of the things that one of my mentors once said is when you send an email campaign, for example, say you send one email to 1,000 people. Well, the way that you write that email is you're emailing 1,000 people. You're not addressing, you all have gathered here today to read my email. Here's what I will tell you all. No, you write an email to one person because individuals will read the email. It's not that you send one email to 1,000 people. Instead, it's that you send one email that is then read 1,000 times. And it's very much the same with the salad. It's like I prepare salad and they're all roughly the same, but each one of them is prepared uniquely for each individual, personalized and connected in that way. So that personal connection, obviously a huge part of serving during COVID that you don't get at other times, that was really enjoyable. The other thing, and this was maybe partially because of just the center that I served at, but the other thing was it was very relaxed. This was a very small course. There were about 40 students on it, 20 men, 20 women, as opposed to usually the center has up to 200 students. It's a very big center, Damodara. It's actually the biggest center in North America, and it's the first center that was built outside of Asia. Fun fact. But there weren't very many students. However, there were still quite a few servers. So there were a lot of us in the kitchen. It's a big kitchen, we could fit a lot of servers, and everything just flows easier when there are a lot of servers. I think there were probably around 9 or 10 of us in total working in the kitchen, which made things really flow easily, smoothly, naturally, in a very relaxed way. There are always high and low times to the day. You'll find this anytime you serve, but perhaps especially right now, when courses are smaller, there are high and low times to the day when you have a lot of cleanup to do in a short period of time. You got to get to group sit at 8 a.m. and you're not supposed to be late. So you have to do a lot of things in a very short time. But when there's less students, there's less cleanup to do. Things are a little easier. And again, we had many more servers helping out on this course, which meant you could relax. There's no rush. You could just calmly put everything away and clean it all up. There was really no problem. No problem at all there, which made this second serve just really special, because when you're not so stressed out about, oh gosh, we have to clean everything, you can focus more on just developing that volition, that love, that joy for the students. And when all the servers are doing this together, when we're all relaxed together, just doing our jobs and having a good old time, we were joking around so much and really just enjoying ourselves. That cultivated so much more love. We really connected, I think, all the servers. I often think that the people who you serve with become a lot like your family, because you're working as part of this team, and the team won't function if you just leave conflicts there. You have to resolve the conflicts, but you do so in such a compassionate way. It's like, I'm not after this person, I'm not just out to get this person, but rather I'm just pointing out, hey, could you just give a little less lettuce? In the bowl, we need a little less there, different things like that. So because of that, I would highly recommend serving a course during COVID if you get a chance. Not only is it a great experience where you'll be very relaxed, generating a lot of love and joy, and integrating this all with your daily practice at home, but it's a really special time because you get that increased personal connection with the students at really a weird time of all of our lives. You get the honor and the opportunity to help others through this really life-changing experience. Last but not least, my mom was on the course. She sat her first course and had just the most wonderful experience. Not that that was COVID specific, but it was an honor to serve her as well. So long story short, if you ever get a chance to serve, do it, whether it's COVID times or not. I think now might be a particularly good time to serve, but even when it's not COVID times, when all things go back to normal, serving is wonderful. If you're ever thinking about serving, I highly recommend it. It is probably the best way to build your daily practice. Ever since my first serve, I've meditated 2 hours every single day, with the exception of like 3 days back in August. Long story. In sum, yeah, just go serve. Now, in case you don't know me, on this channel I talk a lot about Vipassana. I guide meditations every Sunday, so if you're interested in developing your own meditation practice, I highly recommend checking out that playlist, which I'll link in this video. We're just here to practice, develop our practice, develop our love, our equanimity, and our awareness to live happier, more peaceful lives. So sending you all the metta, and I will see you on the next one. Be well.